I'm Cynthia Stafford, and I won $112 million.
We first met Cynthia Stafford in 2009, 2 years after she'd hit the $112 million jackpot in the California lottery. With her winnings, Cynthia has become a film producer, art collector, philanthropist, and friend to the stars. It's a life very different from the one she lived before the win.
In '99, my brother was hit by a car. He was crossing the street and got struck by a drunk driver. When that happened, I knew I had to step in.
Cynthia was given custody of her brother's 2 youngest kids. She quit her job as a computer accountant executive to raise them. But her brother's other 3 kids remained in foster care.
I didn't think that they should be raised by other people. I felt that they should be with their family.
Cynthia knew she needed money to get the other children back. She turned to the power of positive thinking for help.
I wrote $112 million on a sheet of paper, and I put it under my pillow and slept on that number for a few weeks and meditated. I'm very heavy into meditation. Breathing in positivity, removing all negativity.
The positive thinking paid off 112 million times over. Cynthia opted for the lump sum payout of $67 million, which she shared with her father and brother. After taxes, they each took home $22.3 million. And the best thing about the win? Gaining full custody of the kids.
Full disclosure, it is a well-known fact that many past lottery winners who win a substantial amount of money that could be considered life-changing, unfortunately do on occasion end up losing it all, going broke, and eventually declaring bankruptcy. According to the American Bankruptcy Institute, the estimate of these cases are anywhere between 30 to 70% of new lottery winners. And now, unfortunately, Cynthia Stafford is amongst this demographic, citing two poor investment choices as the cause. Regardless of this development, I'm still more so interested in how she won the $112 million in the first place via law of attraction. I know both you and I have at one point had the thought, if I won the jackpot, I would never lose it. I would know exactly what to do with it. And so for this video, we're going to be watching and analyzing a very popular Cynthia Stafford interview in which she details very concisely what exactly she did to win that $112 million in the first place.
I strive to think positive at all times, even when things don't seem so positive. I switch my thoughts. We have to in life. Because if you don't, those thoughts that are bugging you will have a way of manifesting in your life. Amen. And so, it's always great to have people around you, to have books, even the things you watch on television. I don't watch negative TV. I only watch news when I feel it's pertinent, because those things that you put on your mind have a way of showing up.
So the first thing that sticks out to me so far in this interview is Cynthia's persistent habit of positive thinking. In the beginning of this interview, she shares a little bit more of her backstory, detailing where she was in life leading up to her lottery win. She had just lost her brother, and his children, presumably her nieces and or nephews, were put into the system, and she desperately wanted to get them back. In spite of her bleak circumstances, however, it seems as though Cynthia always maintained that habit of persisting in positive thinking, at least in this point of her life. It appears as though she did this by minding the content she consumed, not watching the news unless absolutely necessary, and really only consuming ideas that would make her feel, I suppose, positive. So far, all the simple stuff. Let's continue.
So I got my kids taken from me on April 3rd. She said they don't need medication. All right. I said my prayers. I chose not to curse the moment. Actually, I did curse. Let me be real. I was upset. And then I remembered that I wasn't going to be blessed, so I chose to forgive.
So now we hear that in spite of her lottery win, Cynthia was still going through it in regards to losing the children back to the state. It seems as though in spite of all of Cynthia's positivity, there were still moments where she faltered and felt negatively. And I think that this is a very important chapter of her life to include. If your sister dies, it's absolutely understandable to grieve. If someone cuts you off in traffic, anger is a fair response. If you've been dumped this last year, of course you'd feel rejected and inadequate. There are seasons for everything, and our emotions are not above that law. The only problem is when we perpetually live in an emotional state of grief, anger, or rejection. After this, Cynthia chose forgiveness, which in and of itself is never for the other person. Forgiveness is always for you. Forgiveness is what releases you from the prison of negative emotions. One could say forgiveness is a form of letting go, because you let go of the animosity you've been harboring for another person who really could care less.
And on Mother's Day, yeah, I want it. God just provided it for me. It wasn't because I wanted to win the money so I could be wealthy. I wanted the money so I can get a good attorney to fight the system.
So a strong why. Why do you want what you desire? Why do you want that ideal physical appearance? Why do you want to find love? What's the purpose of it? Have a strong why. Know your why.
But I did get my kids back in the time that I said I was going to get them back. It's another thing. You have to be really clear when you say that you're going to do what you plan to do. When I won the money, yeah, I did intend to win $112 million too. I thought that was interesting.
Specificity. Be specific. Be clear on what you want and why you want it. And she says when you want it by. Deadlines actually can be quite helpful because they do help to increase that sense of expectation while simultaneously decreasing doubt.
Everything, what I've realized too in life is it comes to you when you say and when you need it. And sometimes it just comes serendipitous, and like a serendipitous, trying to say the word correctly, when it's supposed to. It comes.
So be clear on what you want, why you want it, and when you want it by, but still be open to the outcomes and the way it comes about. This whole statement that she just made, actually, it just oozes trust in the process. Having trust in the process inherently implies a trust in the outcome for your highest good. You could not trust a process that you genuinely believed would lead you to hell and leave you there, could you? Trust in the process is what permits you to keep lifting weights and eating high protein, because no matter what it looks like today, inevitably I'm gonna get the six-pack. Trust in the process means knowing that you're doing all the right things. So regardless of what the circumstances appear to be today, one day, by the end of this year, it's all going to be different.
And we just have to trust. We just have to let go. You know the saying, let go, let God? It's almost like you're floating on water. You just have to have that trust. And that's something that is so hard for us as humans, to just trust. Trusting in something that we cannot see. Just like we're breathing air, we can't see the air, but we're breathing it.
She said it best. Trust and let go.
I've grown to learn that regardless of what I'm going through, He's always going to be there.
She has an implicit knowledge of things will always work out for me, which is a belief that many of us haven't cultivated yet, which I honestly find quite sad, because life is not always perfect, is it? Sometimes we find ourselves in awful situations, and obviously we will react awfully. Negative situations, I've always preferred to look at it like day and night. This may sound weird, but every evening the sun goes down. But I just know, in the morning it will rise again. Every year, once a year, I have to face minus 20 degrees Celsius winters and cover myself up in blankets while filming. But I just know that's not going to last. Summer will arrive. It must. It's a fact. I hope what I just said sort of kind of made sense. To be honest, it really was not that deep. The point is, if you maintain that foundation of things always work out for me, then it just makes everything so much more simpler. It really does take the sting out of your current unpleasant circumstances, or the unpleasant circumstances that you will inevitably face at some point in your life in the future.
So, my lesson in terms of manifesting. I visualize. I see it. I first see what it is that I want. Because as you see it, so shall it be.
So visualize.
I visualized all the time that I was going to be holding a check for $112 million written across it. I even visualized myself wearing my little favorite green top, which I don't know where in the heck it is now. And I remember thinking, I'm going to wear that top, I'm going to hold that check, and I'm going to be so happy. Because that what you put your strongest feeling into has to manifest. It has to. So why not manifest your best?
Visualize and feel the state of the wish fulfilled.
Whatever it is you want, the sooner that you understand that I may not have much right now, that don't mean anything because I'm wealthy. The moment you start saying to yourself, I am wealthy, wealth comes to you. Wealth is an energy. Just like poverty is an energy. When you say you're poor, it will circulate in your life. When you say you're wealthy, that's what I did. I just started saying I'm wealthy. I started singing it. I'm wealthy. I say I'm happy. In fact, Pharrell, the happy song, yes, that's my song. Yes.
So obviously we see a heavy use of affirmations here, but it feels a little bit deeper than that, doesn't it? I suspect Cynthia changed her self-concept. She's not giving off an energy of applying much effort when it came to practicing affirmations. I mean, who genuinely sings I Am Wealthy? That's not even a song. And who can honestly say that Happy by Pharrell was their favorite song? Don't get me wrong, it's an amazing song, and I'm sure for many people it was their favorite song. But it just feels as though Cynthia had a more profound change to her self-concept, and as a result of this, began to find it fun and more inspiring, more motivating to then practice affirmations and sing along to Happy by Pharrell Williams. What I'm trying to say is that at this point in her life, at least, Cynthia felt very effortless. Even in the way that she speaks, it's all very fluid and effortless. The woman seems pretty relaxed for having just won $112 million. She doesn't seem shocked, does she?
So be careful, because depending on how powerful your spirit is, you can go out, the world can hear it and come back. But be positive is my point. Strive to be positive, because what you put out will come back, always. Even when you put out negative, it'll come back. So I always strive to be in the positive.
Okay, so strive is another word for persist. No matter what is going on around you, darling, you must persist in your new preferred self-concept.
So visualize, always speak things into the positive with positive energy, and you have to feel it strongly. And be your best, what do I call it? Cheerleader. Like, just cheer yourself on. See yourself as like the best on this planet. And don't hang around and have people around you that want to pull you down. Okay? Because they will do that. They will be there. And you just have to look at them and say, okay, they're not at the same level that I'm on, and God bless you. In fact, say prayers for them and keep moving on. Sometimes you might have to let them go and release them. Release them, let them go, and keep moving. Have a smile on your face. Sing that McDonald's song, put a smile on and keep it moving, because that's what I do.
Scattered throughout this interview, it's very apparent to anybody watching that Cynthia understood that your word is your wand. She tells stories of how she'd wake up in the morning and immediately declare, today is going to be a great day. And oh, here it is. She would say that she's blessed constantly. I am blessed. It seems like that must have been one of her favorite affirmations, alongside I am wealthy. Let's hear what she has to say next in this part.
What you say is what you will receive. Yes. And I'm always telling my friends, if you say you want something for free, be that. Don't put it out there that, I'm going to, do this at this particular time when you really want it now. If you want something right now, say you want it now. Don't put it off into the future, because the mind hears you. And the subconscious mind doesn't take jokes. Don't joke with yourself. Don't say, oh, I'm so stupid, because all of a sudden you start being stupid. I say to myself, I'm the most brilliant person on the planet. Because what you say up here is what your mind believes. Yes. We have to be careful of what we say. You have to be that person who say, I'm the next star, whatever.
So watch your speech, especially how you speak to yourself.
We all have a role. You just have to choose what you want to be. And you have to choose, though. You have to make the choice. No one else can make the choice for you, because the mind will open those doors for you. And so will spirit.
I think everything she said right there could be summarized by a Pinterest quote that I saw many years ago. Choose the life you want to lead and say no to anything that isn't that. I don't think I'm quoting it verbatim, but you get the gist.
When you want to manifest something, don't ask how. Just put it out there. Don't ask how it's going to happen. Like for me, I had several ways of bringing wealth in. That just happened to be one of them. But I had other ways of bringing money into my life.
This is another thing that I trip up on still, asking how my desire will come about. I'm well aware that the issue with preoccupying yourself too often with the how something will come about is that we move to fill in the blanks. So for example, you'll decide that you want to see $112 million in your checking account, but that number does seem foreign to you. So then you'll go ahead and add that you want to receive it by winning the lottery. But then you're also aware of what the odds of winning the lottery are, which are statistically not in your favor. Not in a million years are they in your favor, statistically speaking. So you've got that idea floating around in your subconscious mind, mucking up the whole endeavor, limiting the ways in which you could have received your desire, which initially had absolutely nothing to do with winning the lottery. You wanted the money. Tracing it back even further, it wasn't about the money. What you wanted was to not worry about money. What you wanted were feelings of freedom and stability, the ability to have beautiful things in your life. That's what it was all about. Helene Hadsell understood this quite well when she manifested her dream house, vacations, and luxury items for the times, all without introducing the element or the concept of money. On the other hand, you say you want to see $112 million in your bank account, and then you ask, but how? How is that number even possible for me? Then you find yourself settling for $1 million, but you do not feel as strongly for the $1 million as you do for the $100 million, and then you're left with nothing. These are experiences, two specific experiences, not regarding the money, that I have experienced in the past, and they both started with that question, how? So now I'm still working on it. Whenever I find myself asking that stupid question, how, I replace it with why. Why do I want it? And we already spoke about that earlier in the video. Purpose, have a strong why.
When you do manifest the wealth that you want, what I say to people, especially when I do interviews, is be prepared In fact, what I started doing before the money came was talking to financial advisors. Get in good with wealth, which means study wealth. Study wealthy people. And because wealth will stay around you when you say you're wealthy. Talk to lawyers, other people if you have people around you who are wealthy, but make friends with wealth. It's important. And be comfortable with it. If you're uncomfortable with wealth, it won't stay. It'll leave you.
So the cynic in me sees the irony in that last statement. Forgive me. However, what she is saying here is absolutely golden. And we know that because she did at one point in her life amass that level of wealth. You've got to prepare for your desire and get comfortable with it. I think she said that very best. The word comfortable. Get comfortable. Get comfy with your desire. Make it normal to you, so normal that the fulfillment of your desire is the next logical step. Anything good I have ever received in my life never shocked me once it physically arrived. It just felt familiar. It just felt logical. It just felt right. It was like, okay, well, of course I got approved for my new dream car. Duh. Of course I got accepted into my dream program. Obviously. This last final tip that she gives, I'm so happy she said it, is not something to be slept on. Whatever you desire, get intimate with it. I use that word intentionally. Like a beautiful woman, you want to fixate on it. You want to study it. You want to focus on it. Understand it. Get to know the way it works. Fall in love with it. Become it. Attract it. There are more interviews on Cynthia Stafford that I will leave in the description box, but I chose to explore this one most because this one was taken shortly after she manifested all that wealth. So she was still on that frequency of manifesting things, especially wealth, and therefore her advice would be more accurate and more practical, more beneficial for anyone who is trying to attract, achieve, or manifest anything, obviously, especially wealth. For those other interviews that are linked in the description box, I encourage you to watch them whenever you feel bored and are curious, and maybe tell me if there's anything that I missed. So in summation, what we learned from 2007 Cynthia is think positively, trust the process, let go of negativity, have a strong why, be specific about what you want, know that things will always work out in your favor, visualize and with feeling. Work on your self-concept, persist in your new self-concept, watch how you speak to yourself, don't worry about how it'll come about, and prepare for what you want. In her words, get comfortable with it. And with that being said, thank you for watching this video. I truly do hope you enjoyed it. If you did, I trust you'll give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel for more content just like this one. So, how did you like today's video, and what video would you like to see next? You let me know in the comment section down below. I cannot wait to see you in the next video. Toodles.